So I have to start going public now with this. I've been saying now for a while that I was going to start talking about this, piecing it all together for people, and uploading the documentation to prove it. What I was saying, everyone is aware that I'm rattling some high profile people's cages in Waterford. And yesterday then is Sunday, the 12th basically of February 2023. Today I went to a family event basically, and the child kind of kicked off a bit, so I had to leave after a few minutes. But as I came out then, I noticed I was kind of more or less being watched. And then I went up to collect my car up at me kind of in-laws, and I was being watched up there and being followed, and clearly I was being watched. People on phones telling people in my movements, like not expecting me to come out of where I came out of, basically, if I'm being honest with you. There was drugs planted in my apartment, and this was done by different people who have since kind of like, how do I say it, settled kind of the issue there with them, as they realised themselves they were kind of, as they realised themselves they were used and brought into this wrongly, like, so we kind of sorted the situation. And then, but obviously started planting the idea in certain people's heads that this could be done. So I felt yesterday I was being followed so much after coming out of the place I came out. I don't want to talk about the place where I was in because it's a personal issue. And but I came out after 10 minutes, and 3 years ago I got a file from my solicitor, and I was in the middle of moving, so I never really got a chance to open it, and I got married at the same time. So it took me a couple of weeks to open it. And when I did open up the file, I noticed that the file was that had been edited. 80% of my file was gone basically. So I contacted my solicitor and I said, what's the story with the rest of my file? And she said that it was gone. She's after destroying it. So I contacted the Law Society. They said she had the legal right to obtain the file for 5 years. So when I contacted her again, she suddenly found my file. Then it was apparently left open on a computer. To cut a long story short, I got another copy of my file sent out again, and there was 80% missing out my file. So I sent on 1 or 2 emails that I had on my computer. I said I want all my file, including these emails and all the conversations around it, showing that I had a copy of the emails. So a couple of days passed anyway, and what happened then is she gave me another copy of the file, and I noticed again it was after being highly edited again. So I didn't really mind because I said I'd log into my own emails and I just print off the emails. But when I logged into my emails, I noticed my emails were after being hacked, and the emails that was removed and taken from the account were the identical emails that was removed from the solicitor's file. Now, obviously, I'd have no kind of input into how this could be done, but this is what happened. And when I went back through the cameras, it took me a couple of days because I was looking for paperwork. I didn't really notice that the paperwork was gone, being honest with you. So I had some of the files printed off in paperwork, so I went to get them anyway, just to see. And I noticed all my paperwork was gone out of my apartment. But as I said, it took a couple of days for me now to realise this. I went back through the cameras. I have cameras in my house then. I seen this person coming in. This person came in with a grey tracksuit and a grey hoodie, and it was a sunny day, and they had their hood pulled up really tight, and you couldn't even see their eyes. That's how tight the hood was pulled. But they came in, and they had a key, and they came into my apartment, and they can hear them coming in on the camera and all this, seen coming up the steps, and they left with something under their coat. And obviously it was the box of paperwork that I had that they were after taking from my apartment. So obviously there's a concern now about like people coming and going out of my apartment. And yesterday, after I kind of came out of where I came out of with the child, I felt I was being watched. And this week I was about to start talking about this stuff. So there's a serious risk of me being set up or something being planted in my home, I feel. So I have to go public now once and for all with all this. I'm going to explain all this once and for all in a timeline, including the whole solicitor stuff, and like that's how crazy this stuff gets. This gets a whole lot worse, and they don't want you hearing this. There's certain people like that are like destroying my character. They don't want you hearing this. Like, think of how crazy what I just spoke about, like, and if that was true, like it is true. I'm speaking about kind of like I'm talking about a while, putting all this down and explain the whole lot of it, join the dots basically. and adding support and documentation to show that I'm telling the truth. Even though a lot of the people will know this because they'll know how my character was destroyed, and I hardly done this myself. That would make no sense. I know what I'm saying is actually the truth. But I'm going to try and explain this. I've been kind of doing a little bit of research and stuff. I'm going to use a thing called free tags principle. It's basically where you explain the exposition, the introduction, the backstory, the conflict, and then kind of the resolution. It's the 4-part principle basically on how to explain a story, because I keep getting kind of muddled up. I'll also use the 5 W's, which is who, when, where, why, and what. Sorry, I had to read the 5th one there off of something I have wrote in front of me. I was waiting for clearance on the website that I was made at .com. I'm still waiting on clearance because I was hoping to have all this up and running, because I wanted to upload my paperwork as I went up onto my own site, basically. And I'm still waiting on that. But this is the reason why I feel the need now to start going public and really start talking about this, just on the off chance that I am set up, that there's some weird shit put in my apartment, or obviously the cages that I'm rattling in Waterford. Like, many people will know I'm speaking about what's been going on in the charity in Waterford for many years. They should have all been investigated, and those involved and those who covered it up are like desperate to try and provoke me. Like only yesterday, the usual shit. Like, I'm being followed around by these people. I'm not going to get into all this because they're trying to make me look paranoid, and kind of, even speaking of it this, I'd imagine makes me look paranoid. But I'll explain it as I said, and I'll use the principles that I spoke about, and I'll also provide documentation. And you can put that with the supporting documentation, and it'll show that I'm telling the truth. But it's really about getting this outside of Waterford, because you'll get no good in Waterford, because the same people in the same places of power that are pulling the same strings for the same people. Like, I've had to learn all this talking on camera and all this, and kind of basically curb my bad language and be more calm speaking. But I'm not going to bow down to kind of the cronyism of Waterford. And it's as simple as that, basically. And I understand, like, this after taking me 10 years, so like, people don't realise how much this is at the cost me, if I'm being honest with you, from like deaths in my family and stuff. And like, this needs to be spoken about, because there's a lot more to it than people think, and it's not just the shit that they're going around saying about me. There's a lot more to this, and it needs to come out. And these people are very capable of planting drugs or any shit in someone's apartment or home in an effort to shut me up. If the only good to come out of all this, like, this is almost 10 years there now, but if the only good to come out of all of this is that I shine a spotlight on what's going on in Waterford, like, even with that charity up there, like, we all know what I'm on about. Like, the only good comes out is to shine a spotlight on that place and those that are pulling the strings up there. Like, that's like, it's not even years, like, it's decades going on up there. Like, as we know, it's the same people pulling the same strings, and unfortunately they've got the support of Sinn Féin. And I know I've been speaking on Sinn Féin, and I don't have an issue with Sinn Féin as a party. I would have read a lot of kind of Sinn Féin books and literature through the years, kind of, and I would have kind of supported their political cause. But at the moment, what they're supporting there now, which is like local Torags basically, and predators, let's be honest about it. And this seems to be an ongoing thing over the last 2 decades with Sinn Féin. And there comes a time where I believe that the party is more important than these people. So obviously, this is going to be my part one of kind of explaining this. I'll explain in a lot more detail to a timeline. And as I said, afterwards, I'll upload all documentation to support what I'm saying and show you how corrupt these people are. And they don't want me uploading this. It's as simple as that. They don't want me talking about this. They'll encourage you not to listen to this. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I just thought I needed to say that before I actually did get set up. So this is going to come out one way or the other. I'll try and be more concise, more clearly, and not curse in my videos. And kind of, I won't say anything that I can't prove, basically, either. That's another thing. So I leave it there anyway, and I'll upload more videos more often where I'll explain all this. And you don't have to believe me. You don't have to not believe me. You can just hear me out though, and basically make up your own mind after that. And look around who's encouraging you not to listen to what I have to say. Plays a big part in this. So I'll leave it there. Thanks.